Hey, y'all. It's the Fucking Ridiculous Podcast. It's episode 29. I want to preface with a couple of things. There is some work being done downstairs, just a little bit using jackhammers and regular hammers, drill guns, and the like. Not much noise is coming from downstairs, but if you happen to hear anything, that's what's going on. So, fun. Before we get started, I just wanted to clarify a couple things. So the name of the show is actually Fucking Ridiculous. And it does go by another name, like an alter ego, the FR Pod. But Fucking Ridiculous is the name for a reason. And the word ridiculous actually means deserving or inviting derision or mockery. Now, derision is basically ridicule. And you could also just use ridiculous synonymous with absurd. And so fucking ridiculous is like absurd plus a bajillion. So really fucking ridiculous. Really, really, really very, very, very stupid, absurd, ridiculous. And that is the stuff that we kind of talk about and make light of. Okay? So for those of you who don't get the whole podcast feel, basically if you see clips, this is a lot of joking. Jokes. Not my real problems. So we just went through the New Year process, and like I said, I don't make resolutions, but I am in such a better headspace right now. I am not a goal setter by nature. I don't like to put things down on paper because then I feel trapped, and then I get really nervous that I'll fail, and then I'll be really embarrassed, and then people will know I failed, and even if I tried, and it's a whole thing. But that's fucking stupid, and it's fine. Nobody gives a shit but me. And so I'm now going full steam ahead with trying to meet the 3 goals that I have for the podcast within the next 6 months. And those are the following. Look, I even did a spreadsheet. I would like to hit 15 new subscribers a week on Apple or Spotify. And so in order to do that, you actually have to just click a button, because some of you are just listening, and I'm so grateful for that. But if you listen and then on Apple, there's a plus sign, a plus button, pop that, punch it, and now you're following or subscribing. And then on Spotify, you literally under the episode name, it says follow, and you can just push that button and then you're following. So the reason why you want to do that for me is that it then will tell me how many actual followers and subscribers I have. It does not cost any money to subscribe or follow this podcast. And bonus for you, because I don't have any paid advertising money or revenue coming in, like it's just all content, no ads at all. So that's a big bonus. So follow, subscribe, that helps me big time. Also helps me to meet my personal goals. And then if you were to share with one friend a week, share the podcast and say, hey, subscribe or follow to this podcast. If everyone who's listening or watching did that once a week for the next 6 months, this would work beautifully. No kinks in the system at all. Another way you can help me is I'm trying to increase viewership and followers. So by following me on social, it's super helpful. And that's also the way that you can talk to me about things. Like I might post a question. What do you think about this or that? I love those, this or that's, kind of a thing. The FR Pod, at the FR Pod, is the social for Instagram. It's the social for TikTok. And you can also find Facebook. I am not on Facebook a lot, but I would do it if you guys wanted me to. So following, though, also gets the word out, and viewing the clips and then liking them and all that stuff. That sounds like a lot. If you could just share and get one more person to follow each week in addition to yourself, that would be awesome. And you would be supporting me and my personal goals that I have written down on a spreadsheet. Thank you. Oh, also commenting. Commenting is great. As we know, we've had some shitty ones, but we've also had some good ones. So I'm good with comments. I like to respond back to them. So do that. Thank you. I am wearing or holding hand warmers. I have a weird thing with my fingers. called like Reynards or Renards. And basically, if my fingers get really cold and then they turn white like a corpse. So I am now traveling with hand warmers so that I can make it so I have some circulation in my hands and I can actually move. So loving these right now. Hand warmers, thank you. Shout outs. Kismet. Kismet is a new-ish Indian restaurant that is located in Scott's Addition in Richmond. Went there with 2 friends. Fatty was one of them, and loved it. It was delicious, and they had such an amazingly awesome sounding drink that I broke Dry January early just to have it because I was like, I've never even heard of this, half the stuff in this, and it was delicious, delicious. Way to go, Kismet. Coming home. I mean, I'm coming back for you. Coming back for you. Number 2, shout out. My oldest son received an actual communication back from a college that he had applied to. He's applied to several, but this is the first communication we've received back. He did get in, and I'm so fucking proud of him. In this climate right now, you know what? It can go anyway. So I'm so proud of you, buddy. You're awesome. Yay. And then a shout out to my husband. Sometimes I really truly believe that if I was not in his life, he could maybe not like function. Well, I know he wouldn't function as well, but I sometimes wonder how well he'd be functioning if I wasn't around. But last night, he, in true fucking ridiculous fashion, did use resourceful thinking and MacGyvered his way out of a situation. And it was this. He'd been gone all weekend, and on his way home from driving home from the airport, it's probably like 20 minutes on this one particular really fast driving highway. And he calls me and he's like, you're not going to believe this. I have a flat tire. I was like, oh, crap. Call the insurance company. Tell me if you want me to come get you. And he's like, okay, I'll call you back. So then we go through this a couple of times. He must have called me at least 5 times. What he finds out is that, no, he doesn't have a flat tire. He actually, the bottom of his car, so I don't know if they refer to that as an undercarriage. I have only heard that used by Melissa McCarthy and Bridesmaids, and that was not what she was referring to, but the underside of his car dropped down, and was dragging on the ground as he was driving. And so he then figured out that he could drive 15 miles an hour and took an exit in the middle of nowhere and kept driving until he came across some kind of a store and went in, and he's thinking, I'll buy duct tape and I will duct tape the bottom of my car back up, and then I can drive home and I'll figure it out tomorrow. I applaud the resourcefulness that he used, and he did do that. He found duct tape and he taped whatever it is that was dragging, and he got himself home. I don't think that was the safest thing to do. I definitely would have called the insurance company and just gotten a tow. My oldest son actually was like, he's fucking stupid. So anyway, I applaud the resourcefulness, honey, and I'm glad you're safe. And P.S., it is Duct, D-U-C-T tape, not duct tape, like a duck. However, Duck is the Duck brand of duct tape. Fun fact, just in case, it's not jerry rigging. There's nobody named Jerry doing the pulling. It's jury rigging, J-U-R-Y. So judge, jury, that's what that is. Update on me. Since last week, I told you I broke Dry January, but it was for a really good drink that was delicious. I mean, absolutely delicious. And I'm going to figure out how to make it, and I'll market it and share it with everybody. The pest control people came and informed my husband that we have filth flies. So we are filthy, disgusting people who live in filth, and basically that's why we have all these flies flying around our house. So Slutty Graham is listening to this going, I told you so, and I'm going to acknowledge, Slutty Graham, you told us so. Over Christmas, we had a bunch of stuff in the oven, and one of the things was this big thing of chicken marsala, and it spilled in the oven and down in the lower oven. And we did the self-cleaning portion of the oven thing, but I don't clean our oven, and I know, I'm sure that I'm the only person in the world who doesn't clean their oven. But Slutty Graham does clean her oven on the reg. And so she says, don't forget to clean your oven. Well, of course, we forget to clean our oven. And basically, they say flies love chicken. And so if it's chicken marsala that's stuck in the, residue and stuff of the oven, he's like, well, maybe that's why they're coming. So my husband leaves town and I get to pull the oven out. And I clean that thing fucking top to bottom. I Googled every way to clean it. I used baking soda. I used grease lightning. I used Brillo pads. I used steel wool. I used this other stuff like the oven cleaner. I had the self cleaner. Like I did everything possible. Vinegar to get rid of. It is like you could lick that oven and it would taste horrible because of all the chemicals. And so I've been hoping like, okay, maybe that was the issue. And so over the past 5 days, the flies have gotten less, but they're still there, or fewer, but they're still there. So I'm hoping when I go out of town tomorrow, by the time I come home, that the flies will be completely gone. Otherwise, I'm just putting a for sale sign in the front yard. We're going to move as is. You can take the children as well. I will just take the dog and I'll be on my merry way because I would rather have spiders before flies. Or cockroaches, spiders before flies and cockroaches but I don't want any of them at all. But I'll take spiders if I have to. Choose one. Okay. I was reading the notes and it said no more sex for the flies. And I'm hoping that they're not having sex. But my son also did tell me that I think it's spiders only have oral sex. I didn't know that. Did you? So like I said, my husband went out of town. He was in Vegas for his annual boys trip to Vegas. They've been doing it for like 100 years. And I love this weekend for him because he always comes back, even though he comes back sad because he's been so excited they've had so much fun. I love that he gets this time with his people. And if you have men in your lives that need to get out, like encourage male friendships, encourage them to go and play golf or play darts or throw axes or like go on a trip together because they need that badly. In the news. Okay, so a couple of things have come to my attention. There is a thing called lumber sexual. I was not aware of this. And once I kind of asked what the definition was, I was like, oh, I think I just referred to that particular person as a hipster. But now we've taken it to a new level. So it's not just a hipster. It's a hipster who is actually evoking the lumberjack fashion, like the aura. So they definitely have a flannel shirt on. They most likely have work boots on. They definitely have a full beard. And I don't know if their pants have like the loop for the hammer to be held there, or an axe rather, because I guess lumberjacks would cut wood, chop wood. But anyway, lumbersexual. For me, flannel shirts definitely fall into the category of fucking ridiculous. I look stupid. There's no way I even back when it was like you tie it around your waist, I still looked fucking ridiculous. So I won't ever be called lumbersexual. Maybe you're rocking it, but I didn't know about it. Another L sexual is Leo sexual. And apparently that is a term used to like older men who only date girls that are like 22 and below. And that is a takeoff of Leonardo DiCaprio, who, fun fact, is actually getting up there in age and is still dating very, very young women. I say this without judgment. I'm just saying that's the term. So I've decided that females need their own term. And so we're going to go with Larsasexual. And Larsasexual is based off of Larsa Pippen, who is Scottie Pippen's former wife. And she was seen several months ago with one of Michael Jordan's sons. He's 30. She's not. And I fucking love it. So you can be a Leo sexual. You can be a Larsasexual. You can be a lumbersexual. Take your pick. Or you can be asexual. 33% of people get their news from TikTok. TikTok is like starting to get banned places. So just an FYI, I am a supporter. I like TikTok. I think it's fun and entertaining and definitely a good time waster. But if you get your news from there, you need to get some other sources. Otherwise, you will be ignorant and not know anything. Whether or not your sources from TikTok are true and factual, you will know nothing. either way. Damp January. A friend of mine used that term and I was like, that's fucking stupid because it's either dry or it's wet. Damp, that's basically just drinking on the weekends. That's stupid. Don't do that. Fuck it. Damp January. Jeremy Renner, he's really injured, like really injured. And he's home from the hospital now. And he seems to have the best attitude, and props to him because what a shitty situation to be in. And I mean, he is making the most out of this, it seems, at least outwardly. And so I just think like you're getting some extra prayers and you are the man. Like seriously, that is some serious stuff going on, getting run over by a snowplow. Sweden has now revoked a law where you no longer have to file like a petition or a request or register when your club wants to allow people to dance in the club. Now you can verbally register your group to dance in the club with the police, not dance with the police, verbally register with the police your request to have people be allowed to dance in your club. What? Aren't all the DJs from Sweden? Like, what do they do? Just stand there? I mean, it's the weirdest thing in the world, but it's true. It's true. I read an article about it, so you know it's true. Your eating is affecting your eyesight. We have shitty eyesight, and it's all the processed food, and it's all the trans fats, and it's all the everything. Basically, if you just want to eat GMO-approved organic grass, I think you're good. Otherwise, not much. Water, you can have that. Otherwise, no. There is a thing called BDE. And for those of you who don't know, I mean, and if you feel like you might be offended, I'm good. Just cover your ears. It's called Big Dick Energy. I am a huge fan and supporter of Big Dick Energy. However, much like the Leo Larsa thing, I feel like us girls need our own kind of counterpart to that. So I am proposing BVE, BPE, or if we want to be like inclusive, we can go with BCE. And if you don't know what the P or the V or the C means, DM me and I'll let you know. But I'm starting BVE because I believe in supporting that just as much as the BDE. And if Lizzo wants to write a song about the BVE, go for it. So my neighbor niece, the mom of the neighbor nieces, also the one who told off the Karen when she was yelling at my daughter, gave me this for Christmas. And it is a magnet that says, I'm doing my fucking best. That's the quote of the week. I'm doing my fucking best. I'm doing my fucking best. And I'm going to tell you right now, my fucking best isn't that great, but I'm trying. I'm trying, and I know I say that all the time. So if you are feeling like, oh, I fucked myself on dry January, or oh, I ate too much over the weekend, or I didn't exercise, or I wish I had gotten more done. You know what? If you're doing your best, you're doing your best. You know, you can't always be awesome 100% all the time, right? We've discussed this. So doing my fucking best. Thank you, Catherine. So going along the doing my best, I'm not doing my best in a couple of areas, and I'm willing to acknowledge that. I read an article that was saying that for my height, which is 5'6", that is up for discussion in my house apparently, but I'm 5'6". The proper weight for my that's the hammer. The proper weight for my frame is between 117 pounds and 147 pounds. So that's a 30-pound difference if my math is right. I am neither here nor there, but I definitely would like to be closer to here than there. And I would like to say that I have a lot of discipline and I like really do so well about like eating clean and not, eating all the stuff that's making our eyesight bad. And I don't. I don't. I try to, but I really have very little self-control when it comes to like sugar and baked goods. It's a problem. So I didn't do a great job over the weekend. And fun fact, I will be wearing a bathing suit tomorrow because I'm going to visit some friends in a warm climate. And so nothing makes you feel worse than putting on a bathing suit in the dead of winter when you're dry and pasty and cellulite and you continue to eat because you're self-soothing. That's not doing your best, Nicole. That's just not. So if you have fallen into that category, I'm with you and I'm trying to dig out just like I would in a snowstorm. So let's do it. What's not helping me is I just can't get past it. Okay, so we all know who Tom Brady is. He's a good looking dude. I mean, seriously, has always been a good looking dude. Was married to Giselle, who, come on, I mean, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Seemed kind of exotic, but like didn't actually have like an overly big bust or, she seemed somewhat natural looking, I thought. Well, Tom Brady now allegedly has a new girlfriend, or he's been linked to someone in the press, and her name is like Veronika so-and-so. And I saw a picture of Veronika so-and-so, and Veronika so-and-so, has been plaguing my mind, much like she's probably plaguing a lot of men's and possibly other women's minds. This girl is beyond gorgeous. Like, beyond. Like, genetic freak gorgeous. Like, never ever would I don't know anyone who looks like this girl. And it has really upset me because I saw her in a bathing suit and I was like, I never looked like that. I never will look like that. Even with a lot of like plastic surgery and maybe inflatables and stuff, I'm never going to look like that. And it started me thinking, how shitty is it that is what our society, especially young girls, are seeing and thinking that is what they're comparing themselves to? That's not okay. I mean, I just talked to a friend whose daughter developed an eating disorder over COVID. I talked to another girl who just became a therapist, and she said, I love my job. I was so excited, but some days I leave so sad because I feel like I am the last resort for these people. And a lot of them are younger kids and younger adults that come in, and they are just sad, mad, anxious, just completely overwhelmed with their entire life. And so there's this push of self-care and accepting people where they are, and you're good enough and you're as you are. And then Veronika so-and-so, not blaming Veronika so-and-so, by the way, it's not her fault that she's a genetic freak and is fucking like the most beautiful person in the entire world aesthetically. It's not her fault. It's her parents' fault. So, I mean, I'm not saying they're bad people either. I don't know if they meant to do that. I don't know everything about genetics. Probably didn't mean to do it. But anyway, when that's what I'm thinking, oh my God, like I can't measure up to this. Then there are girls that are actually maybe slightly closer to her age, and they're thinking, oh my God, I will never look like that. She might be the kindest, sweetest person, but just on looks alone, everybody is looking at her and putting her at the top of the totem pole, so to speak. And I just think that that's such a shitty message that we have, where we're trying to make everybody feel okay as they are. But at the end of the day, it's like, it does matter what you look like in some certain circles. And it's kind of sad and it's kind of frustrating. And so to all of you girls and women that are killing yourselves at the gym, starving yourselves, only eating lettuce, not eating carbs, doing the Whole30, doing keto, like whatever it is that you're doing to try and look a certain way, I think that self-care is so important and exercise is so important and eating right is so important. But at the end of the day, if you're not doing it for you, then stop killing yourself. Stop it, because we will not, most of us will never ever look that way. And most of us, frankly, are probably never going to look the way we want ourselves to look when we look in the mirror. And that's a hard pill to swallow, but it's a real one. And I think once I came to terms with that, I'm still struggling with it, but I'm not mad at Veronika. I'm just disappointed. I'm just disappointed, you know? So I don't really know if this is resonating with anyone, but that has been on my mind because of the fact that I have to go home and pack some bathing suits, and I don't even want to try them on because I just don't even want to know what I look like. So maybe just getting rid of all mirrors on a vacation is probably the way to go. I think that's what I'm going to do. And there'll be no photographs and no videos and no posting of social media because that's going to be in the vault. People are definitely getting better looking, but I think they might be getting dumber. That's another quote of mine. Better looking, but dumber. And that's unfortunate. What I'm loving. So I did have one of those subscription closed services send me a box of goods, and I am loving my Cut, K-U-T, jeans. Look, they have the cool rip in them. They have the frayed bottom. They're not tapered, but they're not bell. They're just straight. And they go with the cool boots that I have too. And my niece, my middle niece, who's my fashionista, told me that they were spot on awesome. So my Cut jeans that are black is what I'm loving this week. Thank you, Cut and subscription service. Not so deep thoughts. When you say you are Jewish, that actually doesn't mean that you're Jewish unless you actually are Jewish. And George Santos now understands the distinction. There's a difference between being Jewish and like you think you might want to be or hang around with Jewish people. Therefore, you have the Jewish influence inside of you. Therefore, you're Jewish. It's not the same. Okay. Just a tip, pro tip, not advisable when you are going to be in a bathing suit to consume an entire chocolate fudge pie in 12 hours. It's not advisable. It also will make your stomach hurt, possibly also increase your odds of diabetes. Follow up to that would be not optimal to consume said chocolate fudge pie in entirety between the hours of 10 p.m. and 9 a.m. after several drinks. So take that for what it is and maybe get yourself a food lockbox because apparently that's what we're going to need at my house. Not so deep thought 3 would be, I will tell you next week where to get a food lockbox. That's it. That's it for this week. That was episode 29. And it did take me a little bit longer to do, but I did it. And hopefully you get something out of this, whether it's duct taping your car, cleaning your oven for flies, not eating a pie, whatever it is. Just do your fucking best. And tomorrow's a new day. And just remember, when it comes down to it, it's all going to be fine. It's all going to be fine. 95% of it's fucking ridiculous anyway. Oh, and to recap, to help me with my personal goals for the podcast, if you could help me get to 15 subscribers a week, which means you push the plus button on Apple or you push the follow button on Spotify when you're listening, and then you become a follower. It does not cost money, and it is very easy to do. And if you share the episodes or the podcast or the socials with a friend, just one friend per week, and ask them to follow or subscribe, that would be awesome. And then if you would go on social and follow at the Off Hour Pod and leave me a comment or DM me and say, hey, I did it. And I'll give you a shout out if you want. Tell me your name. I'll whatever you want, I will do it. In the meantime, hope you have a great week, and I will be back next week with a fly update.